that's why we have the report button on our TV control, right? Okay. Welcome. Meeting. Are we excited? Let it all out now. There's more seats in the back. Anybody need a seat? Look at the hands raised for a seat. Okay. Welcome to Kenyon Democrats. If you have never been to one of our meetings, you could just raise your hand so we can get a sense of, oh my God. So for those of you who are new, these are the cities that this club is chartered to service. We have some members in far flung places like Minnesota, okay, and Taos, New Mexico, folks that were with us physically and have moved, but they stay involved in the club. So we take people from anywhere. We also have a couple of Republicans who are dues paying members of our club. Okay, so please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is back there. I pledge allegiance all. One of our intrepid members actually got to see our new vice presidential candidate, Tim Walz, in person in Newport Beach on Tuesday. He was here raising money, and the tickets were pricey. So at two tables, we're asking you for a few minutes to work on postcards. We use these postcards to encourage voters. It goes on a literature package that is hung on their door. So we're going to take maybe another 5-10 minutes to write quietly. And if you just came in and you wanted to buy some merchandise or some raffle or not raffle opportunity, you can do so now. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you want tickets, and we'll come to you. Farrell, would you please come up here and talk to me? If you don't need postcards, Sarah's coming up now. You can give us your card.
Sure. I have a vibrant character.
Would you raise your hand up for an empty seat? We have to find a seat for Walt. Walt, look over here. Gary's taking you. Walt, there's a seat. Walt, Lawson. Look, back in the room.
Same shirt, same person. Want to hear?
have your attention, please, real quick? Hello, hello, hello. Excuse me. I'm a little edgy tonight. Okay, real quick, everybody, or a lot of people have been asking me about writing cards. I have to find out what our timeline is. My email's up there, if you guys want to email me tonight or tomorrow, I'll have an answer, yes or no, whether we have more cards to write. Thank you very much. Okay. So wrap up the cards that you're writing on your table and we'll get started with one. This is the first minute.
I don't know if you write it.
Two water board candidates, and Betty.
Oh, there's one.
Our state, water station.
Water board.
They are kind of like me, I'm putting them in their big. I should. I bought this one. But the garage. Now I don't think anyone wants it in my window. We're gonna bring that. No. Well, that's true.
We got some, we got small.
Good point. There's a post area. I don't know. Yeah, there was a guy.
Ted Farrell, do you have
Yeah,
a
they're up
chair?
there, but they're gonna come.
Raise your hand if there's an empty chair near you. Okay, go back there. Go to the back right. Okay, people, we are now. We love that you like talking to each other, but we have to move on with this meeting and we'll never get out of here tonight. Okay, we have been struggling as a club for years to convince people of the importance of running for water boards. Okay, there are almost no Democrats on water boards and not very many women either. So I know, Suzanne. Okay, so these are the on the map at the top. You can see the local water districts in Orange County, and it's a little confusing because we also have on our voter guide somebody running for the municipal water district, The municipal water districts are the wholesalers of water, and they sell it to these local districts, which then distribute it to your house and you pay the bill to them. Okay, so, Barbara is going to talk about the Trabuco Canyon Water District. And they got themselves in a stir, I guess, over raising rates, yes. So go right ahead and tell folks what's going on, who you are. But just the
Okay, 5 minutes. Thank you so much for having me here. I am so excited. I just can't hardly jump out of my skin with everything that's happening. But we have to bring it down to the local. So what comes to Trabuco Canyon? I moved to Duck Canyon 5 years ago from Laguna Niguel. My water bill was $17 a month. When I moved to Duck Canyon, my water bill was $95 a month. It is now $175. I have artificial grass and I have my daughter living with me and that's it. What happened, a year ago in June, just everything was going along fine. And then there was an article in the Orange County Register that the Trabuco Canyon Water District had increased our rates 300%. And they claimed that they had sent out notices to all the residents, 4 notices as was required by the state. Unfortunately, nobody got them, which is a little odd. And so that kind of got a burn in my butt, sorry. And I said, this is not gonna work. So there are 5 board members, sorry. They're all Republicans. 2 are turned out, so they're on the ballot. There are 2 other gentlemen that are, they're somewhat associated. I'm the only female, I'm the only Democrat. It's a nonpartisan election. The thing is, we have to say they can't do this again. And they don't have a good reputation. We have to replace them. They have gone from Irvine, water sold by the inch. Irvine Ranch was $11 an inch. Santa Maria water was $15 an inch. Trabuco Canyon is $95 an inch. It is absolutely a ripoff. And when I challenged the board on their decision of raising the rates, they went on and on about they had improvements and stuff, but nothing held the water, so to speak. It didn't make any sense. I've been on the board of the Pacific Symphony for over 20 years. I've served with Discovery Cube. I know nonprofits. They claim that they're a nonprofit and they say that they have to do this to build up the infrastructure. It is all a fraud. They took a trip up to Carmel to be at a water conference, stayed in luxury hotels, took their wives, stayed an extra night because they didn't want to fight the traffic coming home, and rented Maserati. So we're gonna bring them down, and if I can get a position on there, then I will make sure that we fight for these people that live in our community. It's Duck Canyon, Trabuco Canyon, Rancho Celio, Robinson Ranch. There's several, and if you want to.
It's easy, look at your water bill.
Yeah, and if you want to help me walk streets, that's what's gonna have to happen. We've got 2 months, a little over 2 months, we've got to walk the streets. We got to let people know that this is not right. That's what. So.
Where they can speak. Okay. So, honestly, Barbara did a great job. Let's give her a round of applause. It's really hard to be a first-time candidate and to stand up against the entrenched people. So bravo to you. Okay, and if you notice the voter guides that are on your table, her name is on this. Okay, so this is the agenda for the meeting. It's on your table. And you know what? This is the agenda from last month. So don't look at the one on the screen, look at the one on the table. I was a little busy this week. I'll tell you about why. The people who are busy with me understand. Okay, so what we do in the club is we have a system whereby on the agenda, there are items listed as consent items. They have a little box with a check mark in it. Those are items that the board is recommending to the club. And there are a number of expenditures there for candidate donations. So I'm going to show you some information about that. And also our treasurer's report is on there. So the treasurer's report is shown on the screen. Ken, raise your hand. Ken is our treasurer. He balances everything down to a penny. So we have memberships, sustaining donations, and fundraising as deposits. And we have routine expenses, which is a lot of little things going together. And you spend $2,100 to support the DPOC, the county party's annual party. And we have candidate donations. So we have been doing a lot of candidate donations. On the left side are the candidate donations that the club at the July meeting approved. And those have, for the most part, I think, gone out the door. Okay. On the right side, we have the proposed donations that are on the consent list tonight. Okay, and the goal is that as a club, we don't hang on to money. We get that money out to candidates who can run and win. And we have given special attention to our candidates for the House of Representatives. Why is that? Because if we don't win the House, we're going to have a lot of problems with whoever becomes president, okay? We have to take back the House. So we are proposing to give money to Francis Marquez for the Board of Supervisors, Josh Newman, who is going to be our state senator, and Susie Schwartz. Where are you, Susie? She's running for school board and then spoken to And then we're giving the 3 congressional candidates outside of our area. Derek Tran, who is in Orange County, but not in our area. George Whiteside and Will Rollins, and they are all identified by the DCCC, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, as frontline seats that we have to flip. So we are supporting that national effort to flip the House of Representatives. So, unless there are some questions or need for clarification or discussion, which we don't usually do, but that's okay if we have to, I would like to hear a motion to adopt the consent items. Yes.
Unmoving.
Okay, and, there's the second, Stacy Holmes. Okay, all right. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Wow. We spend money that's really fun, isn't it? Okay, so, at 7:30, we're gonna have a report, we hope, from the, convention on Zoom, which is dependent on a lot of pieces of technology. I'm not sure. But in any case, we're not quite ready for that. So we will go on with committee reports. So Anne, would you come up and give the membership report? Anne's very busy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And I use the number from the last board meeting because I didn't have the most recent number. So I put a plus there because I know.
So our membership, I know, is gone into the 460s because I don't know during this past week. And it's climbing to get to 500. Oh, that'd be great. So, just grab anybody you can think, bring them and sign them up, or leave for our website and sign them up at candyanddems.org under membership. You could get a family, for this my phone. You could get a family, for 50, an individual for 30, and a youth for 20. And this is for a calendar year too. Okay, next is, okay, and I want to thank you for the friendship shelter donations this month. And that we that we have, we have a huge table, there's a pile of stuff out in front, so I thank you for that. And we'll be delivering those this week to Friendship Shelter. And next month, oh, I'm sorry, this is probably done. Next month in September is Friendship Shelter. So we have wallets, Android phone chargers, headphones, underwear, and I think a large is a good size to buy, or extra large. Towels, washcloths, and blankets. So, that's it. Okay, thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Andy Alexander, and I'm in charge of our focus groups. Thank you, Jeff. My big one. All of you new people, if you live in the cities of Lake Forest or Mission Viejo, in particular Mission Viejo, Laguna Hills, and the unincorporated areas. We have focus groups, and we concentrate on local politics, our city councils. So how many new people that came live in Lake Forest? Okay, come see me after the meeting, and I'll put you on my focus group list, and I'll keep you informed about what's going on in our cities. How many live in Mission Viejo? Wow. All right, and are you all new? Mission Viejo people, or people that are not already on the Mission Viejo focus group list, raise your hand. Okay, Walt, since Kathy's not here, go stand up so people can see you. Stand up. This is Walt. Kathy Coleman, the head of the Mission Viejo focus group, and Walt is her sidekick. And those two have done some tremendous things in that city. We need your help. You can contact Walt at the end of the meeting so he can get you on the focus group list, and we can keep you informed about what's going on in that city, and there is plenty. Laguna Hills, any Laguna Hills people, please meet me after the meeting, and I'll put you on the Laguna Hills focus group list. RSM? Yes. You people from RSM? Cindy, stand up. This is Cindy. Cindy after the meeting. And she will get, I want to know these group lists. Okay, I gotta go. So. Okay, so just give me a minute, I'm gonna shrink this a little bit up in Zoom, okay? These are the people that you're gonna be hearing from. Deborah Cunningham Kurnick, who's been active for years in the Democratic Party, is on the Zoom. Linda May, who lives out in Silverado, I told her to Silverado, Linda, and has been doing stuff in politics longer than I have, which is really going some. And Maurice Hoffman, who has been doing stuff for the Democratic Party and also for the labor movement for years. Okay, now I have a think this. And I have to pray that this works. Okay. Well, maybe we're ready to go. Told them 7:30. I'm happy if they've been on. If you're wondering who Rachel Lois, that's my daughter. And we have free use of her company Zoom. So I hear that's what. Okay, so we get a free. So that's why that's there. And apparently, the folks in Chicago decided to move from 7:30 to 7 o'clock. And when I didn't tell Andy to sit down immediately, they went off somewhere. So we're trying to get them back.
Andy.
It's not an easy spot, right? I can drop an email that says 7 o'clock to all of you if you are. I'm talking for anything. Any of here's Tony's father. Here's Deborah. Why don't you start talking, Deborah? Police is, silence. You have to get rid of the little line by her, speaker. You're on mute, you're muted. Show her how to unmute. You're muted. You're muted. Text them. There we go. Now we can hear you.
Can you put our mic by the computer?
Right.
A little card and go.
Her volume's up as high as it is.
I found it.
I'm pulling the plug on this. Okay. Linda and Deborah, we really appreciate it, but we can't hear you at all. Okay, so we're shutting down. Have fun. Do everything you can and have a ball. Bye-bye. Okay. Okay, so we were on the committee report and we just had membership and we did the focus group. So, I just want to talk about what happened last week. On Thursday and Friday, we had over 100 individuals pass through my house. And we worked to put together literature packets that are going to go on the doors of voters throughout our service area We assembled in those 2 days over 23,000 packets. Linda May, who was in DC, in Chicago right now, is right here. That's Linda May right there.
Don't know where.
Sorry about that. Anyway, she's in the right hand side with the blue sweatshirt, okay? And we did have a lot of fun and ate a lot of chocolate. And this is what we accomplished. You can see all the packets are lined up in bins for the coordinators for each of the communities to come pick them up. And what the packets look like is over here on the left. Okay, so it has the postcard on it, and then it has our voter guide on it, and then it has Joe Kerr literature, or Susie Schwartz literature, or Josh Newton literature on it, and needless to say, it filled up a lot of my house. And we got it done. And now we need people to go and walk those areas. So on your table, there are yellow sheets of paper somewhere buried in all the literature that everybody thinks you absolutely have to have. If you are not already signed up for a precinct and you would like to help just hang these on people's doors, we can get you signed up to do it. Put your name and information on the yellow sheet and leave it on the table, and we will be in touch with you. We need help everywhere, okay? This is literally an existential election. Everything that we think is important is on this ballot. If we do not elect the House, the Senate, and the presidency, the United States as we know it is not going to be the same. And I don't want my grandchildren to grow up in that country. And we're going to learn more about their plan for 2025 later in the meeting. But I don't care what else is going on in your life, you need to be talking to voters. You need to put the sign on, you need to talk to the cleaner, you need to talk to the checkout lady, you at the grocery store, you're a mechanic. Everywhere you spend money, you talk, okay? And you can carry we can give you copies of the voter guide. It's on our website. You can make as many copies of that as you want. You call me up and tell me you need voter guides, I'll bring them anywhere you are, okay? Everybody, no excuses, has to do it. If we do that, as Hillary Clinton said, we've got Trump on the run. We gotta keep after him. Okay, if we let up. Pedal to the metal time, folks. No ifs, ands, or buts. Okay, so here are the people who are coordinating the distribution. And Walt is one of the guys who's coordinating, and you can see him walking to the front. Mikey Bell is standing there, he's coordinating one of them. I don't think Holly is here tonight. And Jim and Janice Vance, raise your hands, they're coordinators, okay? Their phone numbers are here, their email addresses are here. You wanna do something, call them, okay? Email them, they will put you to work, okay? But you don't have to wait for any of that. You can be a campaigner by yourself, because you can never go on, and just harass the heck out of people. All you do is talk about this election. The election is important. Your kids, your family, everybody. I mean, if I went to church, I would wear Okay, Marty, you wanna come up and, the only thing that makes this work is money, okay? We have a printer and he is just busy, busy, busy because he's printing t-shirts, he's printing our literature, he prints our cards. So we use the money to do that.
Good evening, Canyon Dems.
Right.
Fire up and ready to go. Good evening.
Yeah.
So where we. Okay. Having enough money to support the candidates. You saw in the treasurer's report how much money we've already spent and given to candidates to help them win, because it's really important. And so the job of the fundraising team is to make that happen by making as much money as we possibly can. And one of the things that we do to make that happen is our opportunity drawings, which we're gonna do now. Let's do it now. Okay, so if you have a ticket, get it out. We're gonna see who's gonna be our lucky winner of the two things. While they're getting it together, I will tell you that we have a sustaining donor program. And this is a program for people who have a little extra money to give every month besides their regular membership. Or you can just write us a single check. If you've got an extra $1 or $2 or $100, we'd be happy to take it every month. Those are the lucky ones that you get. So you can sign up on the website for our sustaining donor program. This year we've got, I can write it. 79 donors so far who have given a total as of now of $10,939. So, right, these are the candidates. So thank you.
Okay, we're gonna draw. We have two things.
Draw one.
There you go.
First lucky winner is 064628. Raise your hand if you got it, and we will. 064628. We're done. Okay. And our second lucky winner. We'll bring it to you.
No, that's a pick.
Oh, that's a pick. Okay. Our next lucky winner is 064534. 534. Anybody? That's done. Thank you all for participating in our opportunity drawing. That's another way that we make lots and lots of money. Coming up in September, on the 6th of September, right here in the Murray Center, but out on the patio, we're gonna have our next event with all of our candidates. You can see who's already said that they're gonna be here. We're gonna have, meet our food crew, we're gonna talk on tacos. We're gonna have a taco truck, so we'll have dinner for you. Again, you can sign up on the website for that event. Joe Kerr's gonna be here, Dave Minn's gonna be here, Don Jones, our own Gary Kephart, Josh Newman, Susie Swartz, our own Susie Swartz. In addition, Mike Levin is sending his people. We're not sure, he's gonna be out of town, otherwise he said he was here, but he'll send a representative. And we're still trying to get Adam Schiff, who's gonna be here for an event the following day, so that would be a good. Yes, I'm working on it. So that could be good. So sign up for that, we'll hurry along here.
Thank you.
And then, it's on the website, it's also on the Facebook page, if you look under Canyon Dems on Facebook, you can find us there. And this very, sign, thing is up on, it's on the scroll. Yes, ma'am. Okay, that's not easy. I thought there was something else I was gonna talk about, but now I can't remember what it was. So, thank you all for our sustaining donors. Thank you for those of you who have participated. Oh, our buttons, our Kamala buttons. You have to have a Kamala button because I was listening to the roll call. OMG, how many people haven't figured out how to say the lady's name? It's not Kamala. It's Kamala. Look. So, get a button, so you make sure that you can explain to people how to say the name of our next president. Thank you. Mike and Patty,
Or raise your hand like you got it. Okay, they're activated out in the engineering area. They need help putting together more packets for walkers. So on your yellow sheet, if you can help them put packets together, put your name on the sheet and I will get it to them, okay? But we need, what, at least 15 people, 20 people, okay? All right. So how many of you are volunteering to go help them? Raise your hand. Okay, all right, good. Put your name on the yellow sheet and say RSN packets, okay? We're gonna go to our presentation in just a minute, but I wanna ask a favor, okay? All of the folks who are active in the club have all this wonderful information they wanna share with you. So they bring all this paper to put on the tables. Okay, and at the end of the meeting, it's a real problem clearing the tables. So first of all, make the folks who printed all this stuff feel good. Take it home, okay? Take it home and look it over later. But if you really don't want it, okay? Then would you please, like, make 4 or 5 stacks on the table with all the same stuff in one stack. And then another stack for the different fly. And that way we can just go pick them up off the table and we don't have to be sitting here after 9 o'clock when we're supposed to be out of the room, sorting all this stuff out, okay? So the easiest thing is to take it home, but you don't want to do that in a second, okay? Now, I'm gonna get Suzanne up here, and I'm gonna do another switcheroo with what's on the screen. And then she's gonna do her presentation on a really important topic. Their full attention. Too big a room for people to whisper.
Agreed.
I'm really glad to talk to you about budget 2025 because it is so serious. I've talked to a lot of people, I know it's gonna be, I don't want to. Working?
No.
Oh. When you touch it, it makes it really off. So you don't have to move it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I am so glad to be talking to you about Project 2025. So many of us know a little bit about it and we know we don't like it. And that's where we stop. We do not understand how dangerous and how serious it is. And that's why I wanted to talk with you today, and I did the work so you don't have to. And so what I'm going to be doing is giving you a little bit of an overview at the 30,000 foot level, so you're a little bit more familiar with it. And
hopefully you'll understand from my little chit chat how serious this is. Maybe we'll dig a little bit deeper. Maybe we'll talk to everybody you know about it. So with that said, let's start talking about this. What is Project 2025? What do they want? Who is behind it? Who benefits from this? We're going to go over that very briefly, and then I'm going to do a quick dive into 5 different federal agencies. I picked some across the board, so we can just get a feel for what exactly they want to do to us. And then finally, we'll close out with, okay, now I understand it better. What can we do about it? Project 2025 is part of a 4-phase transition program for the Trump administration to take over our federal government from day one. It covers a 180-day period when they hope to have everything in effect. Phase 1 of this is Project 2025. It is a policy platform. It says all the policies that they would like to implement the minute that they gain power. It's a 900-page document, covers 30 different federal agencies. It is one dense document. It is so dense that it is really, really hard to plow through. One of the shocking things that I found out was that you might find a couple of sentences midway through the chapter or at the very end of the chapter, and it says something shocking that would violate every democratic value that we believe in. And so it's important to read through in great detail. There's also some word salad in there. When they say we'll eliminate things, we'll get rid of things, we don't know what that means yet. The second phase is a personnel database. It's up online. If you want to go work for the Trump administration, they're already ready to take your resume and talk to you because they're looking for loyalty, commitment to the Trump administration. And then phase 3, or pillar number 3, is training for those candidates. We'll actually train you in how to think, how to feel, how to put in place the policies. We're telling you what you have to put in to keep your job. And finally, very scary, we will not see this, but pillar number 4 is the actual playbook of actions. You know, they want to eliminate departments. How are they going to do it? Specifically, what departments? So the ammunition is in pillar number 4. Who put this together? It's the Heritage Foundation is behind this. We're going to do a deep dive in that in just a moment. They have an advisory board of over 100 different agencies, but they have a network that is much larger than that. And chapter authors who put this together, people from the Trump administration and leaders of the various organizations that affiliate with the Heritage Group. When I'm dealing with something that is contrary to my values, or I'm negotiating, or there's a policy position, the very first thing that I want to do is not be oppositional. I want to know, who are you? What are your grievances? What are you upset about? Just once you know them, now you're in a better position to talk to them so they can hear you. Well, let me tell you, oh, good Lord. The conservatives, we have been betrayed by the Washington establishment. We don't even know who to trust. They are division and anger. The political class, oh, good Lord, again. The ruling and cultural elite today, last time I looked, they had the House, so I'm not so sure why. They have so much anger and rage against the political class, the ruling elite of today. And they say that the political class has been discredited by wholesale dishonesty and corruption. Again, you are part of it. And society, the very moral foundations of our society are in peril. We have inflation is everywhere, children suffer, pornography invades school libraries, and the normalization of transgenderism. I sincerely believe this. And if we dismiss this, not understanding how serious this is, we do it at our peril, because all of that is just on the first half page of the forward to the entire document. So now we move into, okay, we know they've got grievances, they're really upset. What is it that they want? I don't understand. I hear rage, I hear anger, I hear slamming us all of the time. What do they want? Now we're at the 60,000 foot level. They want a complete and total focus on family, marriage, church, and community. They want government out of people's lives. We don't want them near us. And let's not forget that business is for profit. If you are doing something like a DEI program or heaven forbid, something to take care of your employees, you are stealing shareholder wealth. Profits go to the business partners. You don't be doing any DEI program because you're stealing. Of course, there's no analysis about the value of DEI inclusivity and the people that you embrace in your community and you have work for you and the greater productivity and the returns that you get that way. They do not see that. And we know what they want. We know the grievances. How are they going to do it? They are going to shrink the federal government and bureaucracy, and they're putting in place a powerful command and control. What does that mean? Shrink the government massively, break the back of various departments. Now you've got a streamlined, very small agency filled with loyalists from your personnel database. You have got leaders who will report only directly to their leaders, who report only directly to the cabinet member. The cabinet will only give to the president what is on the president's agenda. Don't be talking anything that the president doesn't care about. If you're thinking about Trump being in office, can you imagine affairs of state and he only wants to talk about what he wants to talk about? They're going to implement and enforce social re-engineering. They're going to re-engineer the engineering that we think we are doing. And I think particularly scary is the last two lines. That's fine, you want to have control, that's fine, you want to talk about some of the social issues. The real punchline, they will investigate, they will audit, and they will report. I'm just using their words. I am not catastrophizing. I'm not blowing this up. This is purely their words in the document. If you have done anything that they don't like in the Biden administration, they'll report you. If you do anything in the Trump administration moving forward, they're going to report you. And now in the last line, the federal government will be teed up for you to have legal redress. You actually now are empowered by the government to go after the people who violated you and did you wrong. I think you might remember in Texas at the Rio Grande, there was the Border Patrol was on horseback and they whipped the Haitian migrants. Well, good lordy, that is a no-no. They can get redress and they can get money. They will be rehired and there'll be punishment for those who take that action. So that's what do they want? How will they do it? Okay, this page, if you see nothing at all or can't go back and look at anything, this is perhaps the most powerful page. It is a page that tries to share with you where did all of this come from and why is it happening. On the left, I have a column under Leonard Leo. It says money and influence. Leonard Leo is about 60 years old, Cornell graduate, bachelor's, JD. He started understanding, met with Edwin Meese, and started feeling that the Constitution, he's a textualist, he's a original intent person. He's very angry with his Roman Catholic background about what's happening in America today. So he started, after graduation, to work for the Federalist Society, a legal advocacy group. There he met Clarence Thomas, and he met a lot of people that looked like him. And he decided that he was so upset about what was happening that he was going to start building coalitions of people to work with him to set America right. His mission was to load SCOTUS with like-minded people and to load the lower courts. And boy, did he have some massive successes. The supermajority that we see of the conservatives on the Supreme Court, he was a key player in that. He pulled the people together. He had the wherewithal to raise money to fight this. He actually worked with Mitch McConnell to shut down Merrick Garland. This man has enormous amounts of power. He was also able to work behind the scenes to ensure that Roe versus Wade was killed. He was able to work behind the scenes to ensure the Supreme Court was in favor of immunity for the president. And the Chevron ruling, which we are just seeing lawsuits being filed, the Chevron ruling, the federal agencies actually don't have any power, only legislators do. So the federal agencies, when they issue rules and regulations, they're not allowed to stand behind it. Anybody can sue them, sue against our federal agencies. They were depowered because of the Chevron ruling. Then he wasn't done. He said, I've done such a good job over here at, being a little bit flippant. This is really serious business behind the scenes. I want to start working on politics and culture. He built the Heritage Foundation, a key player in it. And the Heritage Foundation promotes conservative values. And he said, I'm going to start building this massive network of people that think like me. He went out, built massive networks of people. He raised enormous amount of money. He funded politicians, think tanks, and so on. What was his win? He is behind Project 25 and all the money and all the power that he brought behind him. So now, if we look at the right of the screen, we've got Project 2025. Who are the winners and who are the losers? This is my interpretation of what I am saying, and feel free to challenge me, but this is what I'm saying with some deep dives. Clearly, the winner is Trump. Trump wants the power, and of course, he can make all those federal indictments go away. The MAGA base is a winner. This is the guy that they adore and they believe in. They win. And we've got some Ronald Reagan conservatives, some good old-fashioned Republicans who maybe hold their nose, but we're going to go with this. There's another major segment, the mega donor industrialists. These are the folks that put enormous amounts of money into either Trump or to Project 2025 because they're working together. And if you'll bear with me, I'm just going to read off the list because it's sort of complicated. It is a pay-for-play situation, and it's heartbreaking to see the grifting goes on, or the outright corruption, the buying of power. The Koch family, they are the second largest privately owned company in America. They won Project 2025 policies denying climate change, opposing clean energy, the freedom to open up oil and gas exploration lands. If you doubt me, do you remember Trump saying, drill, baby, drill? So that was the quid pro quo for the Koch brothers donating so much money. The Winklevoss brothers, for example, of Facebook wealth, they're now cryptocurrency billionaires. Trump disliked crypto, distrusted it in 2021. He is now in 2024 promising to make America the crypto capital of the planet. So their quid pro quo, an end to Biden's war on crypto, which would have the SEC better regulate crypto, abolish the Federal Reserve, install industry-friendly regulators, create a system of so-called free banking or a commodity-backed replacement for the US dollar. Saeed Berry, he donated the largest amount of money ever to a political action group, $1.6 billion that goes straight to Leonard Leo, who has absolute control over what he does it. Peter Thiel, he is famous, the billionaire of PayPal Wealth, venture capitalist. He's the one who brought J.D. Vance along. He is the one who introduced J.D. Vance to Trump to sort of soften the language that J.D. Vance was using against Trump. Lo and behold, Don Jr. and he became good friends. Lo and behold, he's the vice president candidate. So the quid pro quo for that is that he has got access as he needs it. Elon Musk, who do we know what's going on? I mean, we can only guess, but we know antitrust actions are in play. Will he be forgiven? No antitrust action against him. There's also a downside. The arch conservatives are very concerned, and rightly so, about the impact to children, the pornography of social media. He may be buying space that his social media platforms are not challenged to deny some of those unsafe things that are being promoted. And finally, the last category is Christian nationalists. We're going to talk about Christian nationalists, it's pretty important, but I cannot move on without saying who are the late losers? It is American democracy. It is we who vote, who believe that we know what we're voting about. And I would say many people don't understand who's behind Project 2025 and that our vote is being stolen because we're being influenced and we don't even know that some very good, decent people are voting in a way that they don't realize they're being manipulated. So Christian nationalism, let's talk about it. Christian nationalism, faith is a wonderful thing. Christianity is a wonderful thing. Muslim, any faith that you have, America has always championed you. Christian nationalism is a completely different animal, and we need to be able to know what it is when we see it. It merges Christian and American identities because it says America is defined by Christianity. Our laws must be based on Christian values. When is a policy that's being put forward actually Christian nationalist as opposed to a Republican or pretty far right? And it's the divine mission from God, such as no abortion. God created all life and all children are meant to be. When it is Christians are so severely persecuted that it necessitates a federal response. Let's shift into why is it un-American? Because we want our Republicans to be Republican. We just want to beat them. We want to teach them why the Democratic way is much better. It's un-American because it distorts the Christian faith and America's constitutional democracy. And hidden behind this and overlapping is white supremacy and racial and gender subjugation. So now we see all the DEI, we've got to get rid of DEI. That is white supremacy in many instances hiding behind Christian nationalism. So how prevalent is Christian nationalism in the US? I did not know this. Very good study being done by the Brookings Institute and some other people. They believe that about 30% of Americans qualify as Christian nationalist adherents or sympathizers. That is a whopping number. And yet 35% of Americans have never heard of this term. Well, what if you're voting for Trump, but you don't even know what Christian nationalism is, that you've been influenced? That is why it's so important that we share the knowledge that I'm sharing with you today. And particularly dangerous at the yellow highlighting, they are more likely to see political struggles through apocalyptic lens of revolution and to support political violence. Biden was asked the question, do you think that Trump will take it well when if he doesn't win? And Biden said, no, we suspect there will be violence. If you're a Christian nationalist and God told you that Christianity has to be the new government, you can imagine that they will have the fervor that you might have seen in the Crusades. So once again, Christian nationalists, their values are unconstitutional, undemocratic, and un-American. We're going to take a quick look at 5 agencies, or time permitting to. The Department of Education. So what do they want to do with the Department of Education? Well, first of all, they hate it. Program bloat. The woke diversicrats, institutions are hostile to free expression, open academic inquiry. They want to eliminate the entire department, shift student loans and grants to the private sector. Everything goes to the states. You do it. We're going to ship you a whole bunch of federal grant money. We don't care what you do with it. You decide what you're going to do with it. And we balance more focused on non-university learning. So the specific plan policy changes. They're going to eliminate the department as fast as they can, but in the meantime, they're going to move all the components to all these different agencies. They're breaking the back of the Department of Education, immediately terminating 4,400 workers. When nobody's working together, when you don't align anymore, you lose that continuity. Federal restrictions. Hey, let's have charter schools like crazy, and school vouchers for all. The states' full education decision-making will fall on them. No DEI. They want to take away NEA's federal charter. They're going to break the unions. And parents, they get the rights to decide what's being taught in school. Try to think about what the potential impacts are. They could be huge, but I can see burden on the states. I can see more government at the state level. I can see a widening gap between states that have wealth and those that don't. And I can see that greater disparity between the two, and it might affect pricing, availability, quality, and so on of education. Could be enormous impact. Intelligence community, let's look at that department, something completely different. Well, their grievances are, oh Lordy, it's a cabal of bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. They're all risk averse, political bureaucracy. That risk aversion has me really concerned. If you are the federal government, it behooves you to be risk averse. You need to have those checks and balances and interested players weighing in to make the right decision. I see throughout the document, they don't like risk aversion. And it terrifies me because it suggests to me there will be some knee-jerk action with no time to counter something that might be adverse even into the interests of America. Social engineering, and oh yes, of course, we saw Hunter's laptop. Trump-Russia collusion, Carter Page surveillance, and so on. You get it, the grievances are there. They want to rein in the bureaucracy, whole of government focus on dominant strategic threats, China and the cyberspace mission. Let me just tell you, I took the time to actually count some countries in this document. China is mentioned 31 times in this section on intelligence community. Russia 9 times. I wonder why that is. Iran 4 times. Of course, now Iran has a threat and they're trying to take out Trump. Maybe that will zoom up to 100, who knows? And in North Korea, his dear friend that he loves, only 2 mentions. We can see that he's priming the agencies to be targeting China. So he will install and empower the right personnel to manage, build, and effectively execute the actions that he wants. He's going to punish any officials who abuse the public trust. I get the feeling that the walking orders for the authors of each of these chapters, they were all told to have punishment, revenge in there. Those are my words. They're more eloquent words, but what we see is punishment and revenge. No DEI, attacks against wokeism, and streamlining, reducing. So some of the policy changes, some CIA directorates will be taken out of DC. They're going to end programs not consistent with the president's mission. You start seeing the command and control with a tiny government, direct line of authority, and the president can decide who gets what, when, where. It goes directly to him. When you move CIA directorates out of DC, our CIA is one of the most advanced intelligence agencies. They are phenomenal. Mistakes, yes. But when you start breaking up the programs and moving them around, this is dangerous for our national security. They are going to shift all open source intel collection to the private sector. You know, so if this is supposed to be intelligence, and we need to be sure that we've got controls on it, we know what we're doing, what the heck, it's all going to the private sector. No controls on it, national security issues. And the intelligence community of 18 agencies are only focusing on difficult and complex products. Department of National Intelligence was built to coordinate all the agencies underneath it, but they're now making it the only dominant one, the only one that talks to the president, the only one at the cabinet level. They're ensuring loyalty, halt all new hiring, because they don't want any burrowing in of legacy folks who might not be total loyalists. And scary is the last one. The president is not constrained to use only the CIA for covert action. What does that mean? Not constrained to use our agency that is specifically spying. So potential impacts, I mean, brutal impact on morale, cohesiveness, erosion of intel collection capability, security risks with emphasis on the private sector. And this is something that I'm adding here. We have a consortium called Five Eyes, get it, Five Eyes. And they are Canada, the United States, United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand. We share intel. We get intel as best we can from our various capabilities, and we share. Well, wasn't Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov in the Oval Office of the White House getting handed top secret documents from President Trump? Mar-a-Lago, can we talk about that? Bragging about our nuclear submarines. We can only imagine that our trusted, amazing partners in intel collection in other countries will not be sharing information with us if Trump is in office. We are running short on time, so I'm going to just quickly talk. We understand the grievances. They don't quit. They just keep on going. Department of Health and Human Services, it's going to be called the Department of Life. They want to restrict Medicare, the choice of coverage and care. We don't know what that will be. That's going to be in the actions. They're going to force everybody into Medicare Advantage as the default enrollment option. Generic drugs, not covered by Medicare. They obviously are going to ban IVF. They're against any abortion drugs. They're going to enforce the Comstock Act. You can't send anything through the mail that might be pornography, and sort of throwing into that anything that might be related to women's care. The impacts devastating to life, medical and financial costs to families, especially women, heavy economic burden to the states, homelessness, no health care, unplanned children, and latchkey children. 60% of bankruptcies are because of medical costs. Department of Homeland Security, they want to eliminate it immediately. They want to prioritize border security and immigration law enforcement, detention, and deportation. They will punish countries that don't accept deportees. They actually want to kick the Department of State aside when they negotiate in the Western Hemisphere regarding security and immigration. They're going to say, I will punish you, country, if you do not take back all these deportees. I will sanction you. I will do all these things to you. It is a heavy, heavy-handed approach. And we know in our international dealings that it is better to have allies than to have enemies. Military. The military will be deployed in mass migration events. They can actually go to the border and shoot immigrants who aren't coming through the proper ports of entry. Let's talk about the national trauma, the potential impacts. I think about Kent State. Just 4 students were killed at Kent State peaceably protesting the war. Can you imagine what our newsreels are going to be like when our military, our soldiers who are trained for battle are going to have to stop this mass migration? If you think about workforce roundups, what they're now enforcing from day one, they will be redeploying ICE agents, raid any work facility that you want. What it is going to do to communities, DACA is going to be arrested, deported. What is it going to do to Florida, the agricultural industry? So let's talk about Waltz, our dear new potential vice president. Always we respect our neighbors and the personal choices they make because we know the golden rule. So moving forward, our democracy is at risk. And as you read this and share this with others, which I hope you do, I'll leave you with some closing thoughts. Project 2025 values and policies, they are here to stay even if Trump loses. The machine behind this is so massive. You could even say Trump is a useful idiot for these powerful, mega wealthy people. Project 2025 is here to stay. We can label it the Christian nationalists. I'm going to go with that. I need more information, but we need to start working with what we're seeing. They are arguably the greatest threat to democracy, and the movement is now powerful and forceful with direct access to government leaders in Congress. So what can you do? So important that you understand it. Please don't say, yeah, I heard about it, I don't like it, I don't want it. Try and understand how serious this is. Share the knowledge in your communities. Vote, of course. And then keep fighting at local and state levels because it is not going away. Thank you.
Is the deck available online to download? It's very excellent presentation.
There's more information. If you look on the back of your agenda, there's an article about this. Also, if you look on the back of your agenda, there's an article about this that Andy Alexander provided. And there's a background paper that Suzanne worked on, which is like, what, about 12 pages. It is all the people on the advisory board, the people stand for like 15, which will be, and we'll put the deck on the website as well. You don't have to be a big expert on this. The most important thing is not in the details. The most important thing is this is about command and control. Controlling every aspect of our lives so that they can force everybody to conform to these values that they have defined that the Christian nationalists have defined. Okay, so when you talk about book banning, when you talk about IVF, all of those things go back to that main theme that they know what's right. They've gotten the word directly from God, and they're going to make all of us live that life. Okay? So this is about taking away the freedom. Okay? All right, so questions? Yes.
How do they justify being a Christian country in the Constitution and so
They don't go through the same kind of thought process that you and I go through. So asking how they can defend it is off the point. The fact is they do. They believe they are right, and they believe that they got that information directly from God. So you can't argue with them because you're not God.
I believe that they have support in minutes.
Okay. Eric,
During the 1930s. During the 1930s and the 40s, had a Father Carter, who had followers and many, many millions of people. You had a famous airplane pilot, arguably was of that ilk. Joe Kennedy arguably was of that ilk, and there are many millions of Americans who believed in that belief system. Why is it any different now?
and remember, the Birch Society was formed here in Orange County. Okay. Orange County was originally, had the most, Ku Klux Klan groups in California, okay? Back in the 40s. So this is not, it's like heathens, you know? You mow them down, they come back up, right? Okay. You gotta keep mowing them down, okay? And asking, why are they growing is beyond the point. You know, it's just a part of our society that pops up every once in a while, and we just gotta deal with it. That's how I can do
I think that one of the things you said in your presentation is that one of the main challenges, and that's how I feel personally, in my neighborhood, with my family, with my friends, is from Christian nationalists. And I want to bring that really, I'm among friends, I'm from Brazil, I was raised Catholic, I go to St. Kilian right here. And I think that this is a huge thing for us to discuss. How can we change this narrative that being a Christian is this? Does that make what I'm saying? So I think that's very important because I am losing a lot of arguments with friends that are very kind, very nice people. But when they face with the issue of abortion, okay, I can. So I'm just sharing that because one of the things that I really liked about the lecture yesterday was, what's his name, Warnick? Right. When he mentioned the Bible, he said, look, this is not what Jesus is saying. You know, and with the abortion thing, I just want to share with, if anyone is dealing with this, I break Jesus' passage with the adulterous woman. If you don't have a sin, throw the first stone. So it's a decision between a woman and God. So that has been what made some people. Yes, I'm just saying because I think this is important. So
you're absolutely correct. No, you're absolutely correct, and this needs to be realized. You're able to help it out, and that is why faith is always a wonderful thing. No one is challenging that in the slightest. What we are saying is, when does someone who's a Republican who slides farther and farther to the right, what is that break point? When they're now Christian nationalists. And if you look at my slide, I put that together to help you identify, when is it un-American? When is it undemocratic? That is your guidelines for when you're talking to friends. And you say to them, I'm sure you didn't mean to be undemocratic or un-American. But when you do that, you're violating the values that we have as a nation. So find that line. And when you hear policies that are sliding to, teach them. It's a teaching opportunity. In the back, go ahead. Okay, that's you. Just stop.
That's okay, I'll just shout. Something I've never heard when anybody's discussing this, if you've got a dyed-in-the-wool idiot, one of the questions I think you should be asking them is, what are your contingency plans? What if it doesn't work quite the way you thought it would? What's your fallback position? You don't have one.
Well, because everything is literal. It's the literal interpretation of the Bible. Everything is black and white. Words only mean one thing.
No business has no, doesn't have.
Yeah, words only mean one thing. okay? So when you have a discussion and you use the word, you say, that's not right, you say, well, you can't know, there's only one meaning for the word, okay? And so when you start talking about abortion, it's all or nothing. You know, black or white, they don't live in the world where there's any gray.
Louise, there's a question.
Yes.
Just a general question. It's kind of a general question, but
I think, and I maybe kind of experience, but I think it's all fine and dandy, us talking amongst people. I know I'm not gonna get far with a couple of my very good Republican friends. You're just shut down, and I don't know if you're experiencing that, but this is so huge when I see this. That why isn't, and maybe it's going to, but Democrat Party and all the politicians, we're still in office. This stuff should just be pounding the networks. And I know some of it is, and I realize it might be which news station you watch.
Yeah.
I mean, at every level, and it's just all the states, and we get.
agreed.
So that's one thought or question, why isn't it?
Uh-huh.
It's starting to happen, I've been hearing Biden talk about it, but not in any detail. Whole conference,
Yeah.
you know, and then my second was, why isn't this getting into the newspapers more? And sorry if it is, and maybe I just haven't read it, but this is so big, wouldn't it be something that major reporters would just go into detail?
If you go to the Google and put in the words, a lot of the research is there. But keep in mind, okay,
Enjoy.
that, we can spend our time between now and November learning more about this. Go into great detail, study it out, and Trump gets elected. Okay? Right now, we need to be focusing on this election. Okay, and the reason is, we don't need the votes, we don't have to convince any Christian nationalist, any Trump, MAGA Trumper, we don't need them. They are 35 to 40% at the most, probably closer to 35%. If we turn out Democrats and no party preference voters, 2/3 of the no party preference voters vote as Democrats, we will overwhelm them. So all we have to do is turn out our people.
Yeah.
Okay? Turn out our people. Okay? And that means if you're scared by this stuff, and you better be, the best thing you can do between now and November is turn out the vote. Okay, turn out the vote, okay? And, you know, everybody's gonna have a different reason for voting, there isn't one. So you just gotta find out what it is and get them to vote. And in most cases, the fact that you believe so strongly is convincing to people. They want to join in. Look at what's happening across the country. Look at this room. You know, look at this room. People want to join this effort. All we have to do is invite them in. We have to open the door. And we won't open the door by telling them that they're wrong about everything. Okay? I think Kamala is absolutely right that asking people to join in and be joyful about this is a great strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, but we need to know about this too. Okay, so it's the dark side of this, but I don't think we spend a lot of time arguing with people about it.
Something else you can do is be an election worker, looking for people and understand the Republicans are planning to screw around with how the votes are counted and how they're reported. And there are a lot of jobs that can be done. Flexible schedule and whatever your availability is, and they are hiring.
Yeah, the registrar of voters is hiring and they pay well. Yes, in the back.
Well, I've worked with registrar of voters. I mean, just during election time.
I'm one of those people that mess up the vote.
Exactly. I wanted to say that, PBS, they did a big thing on this project 2025, and they posted everything, and they had 14 hours worth of video that they got,
Right.
they posted that online. So
Yeah.
if anyone's really interested.
A lot of this stuff is out there, folks, but believe me, make this your November, December project. Okay? After November, what, 7th?
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be cold. Yeah. You know, you can put your car out there. Yeah, that's good. That's fine. That's great. Okay. I am so stoked. I am so stoked. I remember the night Hillary Clinton lost. I have that, I know what that feels like. It was devastating, devastating, and I was so sure 2 months ago that we were headed there.
Yeah.
Again, okay? And now, I am so excited. I am so excited to be with all of you, because this group is really special. This is a special group. This is what this group is for, patriots. This is really what America's about, right here in this room. Real good evening. Thank you and good evening. Clean up the paper.
We're excited.